It was the first Monday of the semester, the cafeteria buzzing with the usual noise of clattering trays, loud laughter, and the endless gossip that floated from table to table like wildfire. For most students, it was just another day, same food, same crowd, same jokes. But for one girl, it was the start of something entirely new. Her name was Alina, a 17-year-old with quiet brown eyes and long black hair tied into a neat ponytail. She carried herself with a kind of nervous grace, clutching her lunch tray like it was a shield as she searched for a place to sit. New schools are never kind. Every pair of eyes seemed to follow her, some curious, some whispering, some already judging. She could feel the weight of their stares digging into her back as she walked past table after table, each group already locked into their own circles, unwilling to open space for a stranger. Finally, she found an empty table near the far end of the cafeteria, away from the main crowd. She sat down quietly, her tray untouched, her hands trembling just a little. At another corner of the cafeteria, 5 boys were watching. They weren't just any students. They were the self-proclaimed kings of the school. Rizwan, the tall, arrogant leader with a permanent smirk. Samir, the joker who laughed at cruelty. Hamza, whose size made him look more like a college athlete than a high schooler. Faizan, always quiet but dangerously sharp. And Danish, who never missed a chance to film things on his phone. They thrived on power, feeding on fear. To them, a new face was an opportunity, and Alina, sitting alone, fragile and unguarded, was the perfect target. Fresh meat, Rizwan muttered with a grin, nudging Hamza. Looks like she doesn't know the rules, Samir added, his voice dripping with mockery. Danish already had his phone ready, whispering, "This is going viral." The 5 boys stood up together, the cafeteria's atmosphere shifting as if everyone already knew trouble was brewing. Some students lowered their heads, pretending not to notice. Others smirked, waiting for the show. That was how it always worked in this school. When the bullies moved, the rest became the silent audience. Alina was staring down at her tray when she heard footsteps approaching. She looked up to see Rizwan and his gang standing over her, blocking the light. "This seat taken?" Rizwan asked mockingly, not waiting for an answer before slamming his hand down on the table. The loud bang made her flinch. I was just sitting here," Alina said softly, her voice barely audible. Samir snorted. "Wow, she speaks. What's your name, new girl?" Alina," she replied, her throat tight. "Alina," Rizwan repeated, exaggerating the syllables like it was a joke. "Pretty name. Shame it won't help you survive here." Without warning, Hamza grabbed the carton of milk from her tray and poured it slowly onto the table, the white liquid spreading like a stain of humiliation. Samir picked up her sandwich and took a huge bite, laughing with his mouth full. Danish leaned in, camera in hand, whispering, "Keep going, this is gold." Alina's eyes welled with tears, but she refused to let them fall. She clenched her fists under the table, her nails digging into her palms. Her father had always told her, "Never let them see you break. If you stand tall, you're already winning." But how could she stand tall when 5 boys towered over her, mocking her, stealing her dignity piece by piece? "Come on, new girl," Rizwan sneered, "say something, or are you mute?" The cafeteria was silent now, all eyes locked on the unfolding cruelty. Finally, Alina stood. Her legs trembled, but her gaze locked onto Rizwan's. "I'm not afraid of you," she said, her voice firm despite the storm inside her. The boys froze for a second, surprised. No one ever spoke back to them. Then Rizwan's smirk returned, sharper than before. "Big words," he said coldly, before shoving her tray off the table. The crash echoed across the cafeteria, food splattering everywhere. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone whispered, "Oh no," and then everything snapped. Alina's chair scraped loudly against the floor as she shoved it backward. Her body moved faster than even she realized. When Hamza reached for her arm, she twisted out of his grip and shoved him with all her strength. He stumbled back, colliding with another table, sending trays flying. Samir lunged forward, but Alina kicked the chair in front of her, sending it crashing into his knees. He yelped in pain, falling to the ground. The cafeteria exploded into chaos. Students screamed and scrambled as chairs toppled, trays clattered, and the air filled with shouts. Faizan tried to grab her from behind, but Alina ducked low, yanking a chair leg that had broken loose from the floor. She spun around, holding it like a staff. "Back off!" she shouted, her voice carrying through the room. For the first time, the 5 boys weren't laughing. Their arrogance wavered as the cafeteria they once ruled turned into a battlefield. Rizwan clenched his fists, his smirk gone. Danish, still holding his phone, muttered, "Are you getting this? She's crazy." But his hand was trembling. Students who had once stayed silent were now on their feet, watching in awe as the girl who came in quietly, unnoticed, stood her ground against 5 notorious bullies. Whispers grew louder, voices chanting softly at first, then stronger. "Fight back, Alina! Don't let them win!" Her chest heaved, her heart pounding, but her stance was unshaken. Chairs lay overturned, food scattered, and the so-called kings of the cafeteria stood stunned, their power crumbling in front of everyone. And in that charged silence, Alina realized something. This was only the beginning.